Greed can be an all-consuming emotion, capable of twisting relationships and leading individuals down a path of deceit and self-destruction. This is especially true within families where trust and loyalty should run deep. So if you think you know how your family members would react in times of crisis or financial need, then this story will give you a good reality check. Welcome to our channel where we bring you stories that reveal the darker aspects of human behavior. Today, we delve into the intriguing narrative of a man who discovered his own family's treachery in a moment of profound betrayal. When he inherited his late father's estate, the pain ran deeper than the loss of money. It was the loss of trust and love from his closest relations, his siblings. To understand the full impact of this betrayal, we must first explore the close bond Armin shared with his father. Armin, a 38-year-old man, had experienced the loss of his father 2 years prior. The passing of his mother had occurred much earlier when Armin was still a teenager. Despite these adversities, Armin grew up cherishing the love and support of his father. Even without a mother's guidance, his father had done his best to raise him and his siblings, Sammy and Nadia, instilling in them strong values and principles. Throughout Armin's life, his father had always been a pillar of strength and wisdom, and Armin held a deep sense of gratitude for everything his father had done for him. This profound bond between father and son had shaped Armin into the kind-hearted and principled man he was known to be in his community. As a child, the bond between Armin and his siblings was unbreakable. They shared laughter, secrets, dreams, and the love of their parents. Their childhood home echoed with their joy. Every holiday was a celebration. Every meal was shared. They were each other's confidants. In short, they were a happy family. However, nothing lasts forever. As they grew older, their paths diverged slightly, but the bond remained. Sammy, the elder brother, always protective and seemingly responsible, pursued a career in business. Nadia, the youngest, nurturing and artistic, chose a path in education. And Armin, always drawn to justice and fairness, became a lawyer. Despite their different paths, the siblings' unity remained steadfast. They were not just brother and sister, they were friends, allies, and each other's support systems. However, the sudden passing of their father 2 years prior had shaken them deeply. They had grieved together, consoled each other, and vowed to honor their father's memory. They promised to take care of their father's estate, which included a modest house, some savings, and a stake in a local business. Each sibling had different ideas about their father's estate. Sammy wanted to sell it all, believing it was the practical thing to do. Nadia, however, wanted to keep the house and the business, seeing them as a part of their father's legacy. Armin, caught in the middle, suggested they keep the house and share the profits from the business, honoring their father's memory while providing them with financial stability. The siblings had decided to hold a family meeting to discuss the distribution of their father's estate fairly. However, as the day of the meeting approached, Armin noticed a change in his brother's attitude. Sammy seemed distant, almost secretive. Nadia, too, seemed preoccupied, her usual cheerfulness replaced by a forced smile. On the day of the meeting, both Sammy and Nadia arrived late. They offered no explanation for their delay. From the outset, the meeting was tense. Sammy wasted no time in declaring his intention to sell the house and dissolve the business. He spoke of investments and financial security, his voice firm and unwavering. Nadia, tears in her eyes, argued for preserving their father's legacy. Her pleas fell on deaf ears as Sammy continued, his voice growing louder. After several hours of heated discussion, their father's will was brought into the conversation. According to their father's wishes, the house was to be shared equally among the siblings after any debts were settled. The business was to be managed collectively, with each sibling having an equal say in its operations. The siblings' disagreement over their father's estate was becoming increasingly apparent. Sammy, driven by his desire for quick financial gain, was pushing for immediate action. Nadia, torn between her grief and loyalty to her brother, struggled to find common ground. And Armin, torn between his siblings, desperately sought a compromise that would honor their father's wishes while ensuring the family's unity. But Sammy, blinded by his own desires, was not open to compromise. The discovery of their father's evil had become a point of contention rather than a guide for their actions. Sammy accused Armin of trying to manipulate the situation by using their father's last wishes against him. Nadia, caught in the crossfire, felt the weight of their father's memory pressing down on her, suffocating her with expectations she was unsure she could meet. Armin, deeply saddened by the disarray of his family, found himself at a crossroads. He knew that whatever decision he made would have far-reaching consequences, not just for their relationship, but also for the future of their father's legacy. As the meeting dragged on, tensions escalated, revealing the cracks in their sibling relationship. In a moment of frustration, Armin accused his brother of betraying their father's trust and manipulating their sister. His words hung in the air, heavy with the weight of their implications. Sammy responded with a cruel laugh, his eyes gleaming with malice. "So now I am the villain," he said, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "But think about it, Armin. Who else but me has been looking after you since our father fell ill? Who else but me paid for your education? Who else ensured that you had a roof over your head and food on your table?" The meeting ended without resolution, leaving Armin feeling isolated and disillusioned. He watched as his siblings drove away, their car disappearing into the twilight, taking with them their shared past and their father's legacy. The next day, Armin went to work with a heavy heart. The betrayal he had experienced at the hands of his own siblings weighed heavily on his mind. He tried to focus on his cases, but his thoughts kept drifting back to the previous night's meeting. A few weeks passed in this manner, each day bringing with it a deeper sense of despair and isolation. Then came the news that shattered the remaining fragments of their family bond. The house that had been a symbol of their childhood, their father's final resting place, and the embodiment of their shared history was sold. Sammy and Nadia had acted swiftly, efficiently, and most importantly, secretly. Armin had been shut out of the decision, left to grapple with the news like any other outsider. Their father's legacy was being dismantled, brick by brick, financial asset by financial asset. The once vibrant tapestry of their family was being ripped apart, leaving only shreds of what once was whole. Feeling betrayed and hurt, Armin began to isolate himself further. The thought of confronting his siblings, of reliving the pain, was unbearable. Instead, he threw himself into his work, seeking solace in the intricacies of his cases. But no amount of legal maneuvering could soothe the wound in his heart. As days turned into weeks, Armin found himself consumed by a single thought, a thirst for justice. It was not just about the loss of money or property. It was about the violation of trust, the shattering of love, and the desecration of their father's memory. He realized that the only way to regain a sense of control, to heal the wounds of betrayal, was to take action. But what could he do against his own siblings? The thought was both terrifying and exhilarating. Fear not at him, but the prospect of justice propelled him forward. Armin began gathering information, reaching out to old friends and relatives, searching for any clue that could help him understand his siblings' actions. Slowly, a picture began to emerge, a portrait of greed, deception, and cold-hearted manipulation. With each piece of information, Armin's resolve strengthened. He was determined to expose his siblings' deceit, not for personal gain, but to restore the truth and honor their father's memory. The journey was arduous, filled with legal complexities and emotional turmoil. But Armin pressed on, fueled by a burning desire for justice. He was ready to unveil the truth, no matter the cost. To be continued. We hope you enjoyed this intense tale of betrayal and the pursuit of justice. If you did, please remember to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell for more gripping stories. Your support means everything to us. We'll see you next time with another captivating story that explores the depths of human emotions and experiences. Until then, stay curious, stay engaged, and keep exploring the world of stories.